Australian side running from right to left across your screen as some photographs are taken there for the local press, and Bradford Northern will be defending the end to your left. We have fog coming down here. It's mixed in with the rain. The rain is still heavy, and I repeat that visibility is becoming a real problem. On that far side, it'll be a little bit catch as catch can. Who's got the ball, I think. All right, so it's Bradford Northern to kick off. My statistician for this match, Alan Clarkson, has been doing a fine job. Away they go. So the ball goes deep and is lost in the murk. I believe we've got it in the hands of Dale Shearer out there, and he brings it out to within about 5 metres of the quarter. John Woods was one of the defenders there. Mario Finnegan, dummy half onto Siranen. Siranen, he gets it up over the quarter line. I think we'll see a kick here not too long. Coming through the middle of the ruck there, number 10, to number 10, Martin Bella. North Sydney player. And there the kick comes into operation. Very nearly charged down too. It's gone straight upfield. It's taken and dropped there by number 2, Phil Ford, and that is a massive gain in territory. Ford had to go down low for that. And he was an ungainly looking sight as he went down on one knee to try to take it, knocked it sideways and forward. Australian scrum feed. It's in and out. The referee says we'll have it again. Terry Holmes round very quickly on Des Hasler. It's in that time, and out the Australian side. He gets it out to Lewis. Lewis flings it across the open side. Two sides of the ruck there, and he dummied one way and went the other. That was Belcher who was in possession there. Now we've got Wes Davidson pumping it up through the middle. He's lost the ball. It's been stolen by Bradford Northern, and it's come off the head of a Bradford player. And the referee is going to rule a knock-on. But I wouldn't have thought that would have been a knock-on. I would have thought that would have been ruled as a propelled forward, a rebound. It's in, and now it's out, and the crowd can tell you that that is the first penalty of the match. We've had to wait a lengthy period of time, but Hasler's been penalised for an incorrect feed. Mumby's come up to take the kick. He's the fullback. Pretty decent set of legs on him too. That's not a bad kick, and let me say incidentally that the only area that I can see that the England sides Great Britain sides are beating Australia at the moment is their line kicking. And they're doing it very, very well throughout the different clubs. But that doesn't score tries. Mario Fenny getting his first touch of the ball there. About 4.5 minutes play, still on the halfway. Through the middle of the ruck there comes Ian Howcroft. About 5 metres over the Australian half. Finnegan dummy half. He's electing to run from that position. He makes a gain of about 7 metres, running a little bit crab-wise there. Moving it out to Woods. He loses the ball. It's been kicked through. It'll be play on. It'll be brought right back. The crowd are surely not going to expect it'll be a knock-on. The referee's not going to play the advantage for 40 yards, and I agree with that. The knock-on was the obvious ruling to make there. Visibility diminishing as we look at it. Well, I played once in a game over here, not at this stadium, and there's a replay of the knock-on and the kick forward. There was the chase on there with Dick Jesse Wentz coming up with it. But now from the scrum, the ensuing scrum, a scrum win against the feed to the Bradford side. There's the Australian lock forward, Mal Graham. He comes from Newcastle. They're making ground running from dummy half, and that's not bad tactics. Still up on the Australian quarter. Close and hard comes Ian Howcroft there, but he's decked midway between the quarter and the halfway. Carl Fairbank. Good defence there coming in from Bob Linder. Moving it wide. Terry Holmes, the kick through. It's not a bad kick. Shearer's made a meal of that. The referee will rule a knock-on. Greg Alexander playing on the wing in this match, and there, as you can see on your screen at the moment, it is absolutely appalling, the visibility. I played a match over here once. We got 40 minutes into the match, just actually 41 minutes, 1 minute into half time. The fog closed down and we could barely find our way off the ground, let alone play football. So this might happen tonight. There's a penalty gone to Australia for an incorrect feed. And the thought occurs to me it's going to be a nice trip home in the car from here. Yeah, Mark, Graham, I'm sorry. Have you got any comments? Have you played in this sort of conditions before?
Well, Rex, I can't see to the other side of the field. I'm starting to lose the grandstand as this fog and mist sets in, and sitting next to me is the biggest sandboy I've ever seen in my life, Stevie Roach, who thought, why me tonight? How come I've got the sandboy duties tonight?
Yeah, mate, well, someone's got to do it, so I'm not playing, so I'll do my best to do the job tonight.
Well, Rex, we'll see you nice and dry, hopefully a little bit later.
Stolen ball there by the number 8 for the northern side, Ian Howcraft. And they're making ground up the blind side here now, getting played to within 10 metres of the Australian quarter. An early score in this match would be critical to either side. Mario Fennick, I think we saw in the murk in the distance there a small altercation between Fennick and Elias a little while ago. I wasn't terribly sure of who the players were. I think we can assume it was them. Benny Elias got up very sickened from a tackle. Out to Holmes, he's gone for the kick through. It's a beautiful kick too. That's the pressure kick. They're the ones. Because these England sides, these Great Britain club sides, realise that Australia is earning the ire of referees and frequently concedes penalties in set scrum situations. Des Hasler will have the responsibility of getting it in properly to his satisfaction. It's only about 5 metres out from the Australian line. It's in and it's out the Australian side. Hasler can't go anywhere. He's picked off straight away. Good covering coming around there by the lock forward, Mel Graham. Bob Linder running from the base of the ruck there and makes a little bit of a diagonal run. The kick should be brought in, and here it comes with Wally Lewis pumping it downfield. Mumby's having to go back for it. It's on the roll. It's back into the quarter. That's good kicking from Wally Lewis. He touches it with his foot. Now he's going to try to offload. He gets it out there to number 2, Phil Ford. Ford comes up the sideline, props, goes back infield. He's run into a bit of a horn. Oh, shepherding. Right behind one of his own players. The referee stood there like the Statue of Liberty and didn't put the whistle to the mouth. What do you know? Oh, now, I hope this is not going to be a real duke the way we've had it in some of the other games here. I'm fed up with complaining about referees. I really am. Keith Mumby kicking for touch. If they'd only play the game on this side of the field, would be all right, but when they get beyond the middle of the field, we're in all sorts of trouble. Gary Bentley away to Graham. Graham on to Holmes. Holmes there to Dick Jasiewicz, and he's met hard midfield. Some good strong defence there. Moving it out to Holmes. Holmes on to number 12 there, Carl Fairbank. The ball's rolling loose now, been kicked backwards and picked up and resurrected by the Bradford side, and they bring it back to within 2 metres of the halfway line. It was Steve Donlan. Still no score in this match, and I wouldn't be terribly surprised if we don't see a lot of scoring anyway. There's an awful pass being delivered to a player that came on the burst, touched by an Australian player according to the referee, and it's 6 to go. They're still their own side of halfway. Australian defence looking strong. In come the tacklers, 2 by 2. That was Chris Mortimer. Came in hard round the legs. The kick driven down there. Shearer will try to get to it. He can't. It's over the sideline. Into a very murky sideline, let me tell you. Guesswork at the moment. I can tell you that Bradford Northern are running from left to right. That's about all I can tell you. They've won the scrum. There's some strong defence coming in there from Brett Kenny, up very, very fast. They're working the blind side, running cross field though, not getting beyond that advantage line, which is critical. Hasler was one of the defenders. Ford inside there to Jasiewicz. Fairbank at dummy half. Over Holmes. Gary Bentley assumes the dummy half role. It's midway between the Australian quarter and halfway. Still no score in the match. We've had about 13 minutes. Ball lost forward, should be played on. Picked up there by number 12, Les Davidson. And he's about 7 metres from the halfway line. Let's see whether Wally Lewis elects to get them out of this situation. That pass was forward. The referee missed it completely. Totally forward, about half a metre forward. Out it goes on the blind side of the ruck, out to Shearer. Shearer can't get round his man. He's tackled right on the halfway line. The tackler was Roger Simpson. They're just little murky figures running around over there at the moment. Still Australia in possession. Being pushed back there, and I think the ball's been lost on the halfway line. It's beyond my capabilities to tell you who lost it or who stole it. Now there's a player going to be spoken to. We're going to touch judge in at the moment. Let's see who it's going to be. There's a prostrate player in the Bradford Northern side being given some sort of a workout, if we can believe the evidence. We'll watch it on a replay again. Well, he appeared to me to be wrestled to the ground. There was no extravagant high tackle in it. The crowd reacted, the referee being involved with the match reacted, I think, to the crowd. Les Davidson apparently is the man that was spoken to on that occasion. So we get a penalty awarded. It's much too far, I think, in these conditions to even look at a goal. He's about 43 metres out. He's going to kick the touch, is Mumby. Well, somewhere into the murk, the ball's disappeared. The crowd over there roar. It must have been a good one. It's 10 metres out from the 15 metres out from the Australian line. The worker switch in play. Tackled Holmes across to Woods, moving it out nicely. There's an injection of pace into the three-quarter line, coming smartly there, but he couldn't get through the defence. That was the winger Simpson. Came in right from the other side. Steve Donlan at dummy half. Terry Holmes. Woods tackled in possession. Bentley at dummy half. Back to Woods. Defence up quick. Still no score in the match. We've had about 15 minutes of play. Kick being put through. It's going to be attempted to be taken, and taken nicely by Gary Belcher. Not an easy thing to do in these murky conditions. Just on the Australian quarter. They're being put under some pressure. And very slow to the feet is Dale Shearer. And the Elias away to Martin Bella, coming straight and hard. A bit of clawing and scratching going on there, and a bit of a knee put in for good measure from Carl Fairbank. There's a kick there that's a beauty. Just inside the line. Skids over. Wally Lewis the man. Well, Graham, the tactics of the Bradford side are sound, very sound in these conditions. They're using a lot of kicking, and when they spread the ball wide, they're doing it with short passes, not long ones. Well, they're starting to base it through the forwards. It's exactly what's got to happen. Here's an error. They've forced the error now from this Bradford side. This is the sort of thing that's got them home early in all the games where they've put the pressure on the English teams and they've come up with mistakes like that. Good kicking from Wally Lewis. They do have a slight breeze behind themselves now, the Aussies. A short game through the forwards. Men like Hasler are going to come into their own, very important. Also Wally Lewis trying to make any short breaks on the edge of the ruck that those forwards might be able to bring up. Right, well, there's a penalty come to the Australian side at this stage, and the penalty count is 3-2 in favour of the Bradford Northern side. That's about 30 metres out. It was about differential, you understand, so there's no kick for goal. That's not a bad touch by Wally Lewis, 15 metres out. Now, the main critical factor is all of these players will be aware is retention of the ball here. They've got to ignore the conditions and try to hold the football for the period of time. Wally Lewis on the surge, looking back on the inside, and it's a nice try coming into Linda. Good work there, and I must say, I have to tell you that they've been using that move a lot at training as recently as this morning when they had a half-hour run just to sharpen them up. It was that exact move that they used on a number of occasions where Linda trails Lewis through the edge of the ruck. Watch Lewis now surge right, dummy once, surge through again, gets his arms free, turns it back on the inside, and Linda goes over to score what is a very well-rehearsed try. Good sustained play by Australia. They've taken the opportunity, so Graham Hughes, spot on with your assessment of that situation.
Well, that's exactly what they've been doing all tour. The Englishmen, they just can't seem to be able to maintain pressure in games. We've spoken between ourselves, you and I, so many times about their conditioning, how it tends to give way. Perfect football from Wally Lewis. He produced the kick that put all that pressure on the side, then worked that move fantastically well with his other Queensland teammate, Bobby Linda. Great start to Australia. This may not be a big scoring game. All important, those early points.
OK, we've got the young Alexander having a shot. Greg Alexander, he's wide out, 10 metres in from the sideline. He struck it beautifully. It may not be a goal, but by hell, it's a good kick. That was excellent under these heavy conditions. It just went away to the right. It was coming back all the time. So Australia lead. Bradford Northern at Odsal Stadium, 4-0. Bradford Northern drive it hard and low, trying to force the error. It hit Alexander on the chest. The referee signifies that he saw that. He's made a beautiful bust right through the middle, just to the quarter line. That was a great run too. Benny Elias at dummy half, and there's a penalty gone to Australia for against, I think is that Fennick? Yes, I believe it is. I think he was trying to hack the ball through in the ruck. Now Lewis. Well, from the centre of the field, that's not a bad kick in the conditions. He's made about 15 metres, and that's all you can look to when you're right in the middle of the field. Elias on a Bella. Fennick goes in low, right round the legs. There's Elias at dummy half. He runs from that position and makes a good inroad. Oh, he went under a head high. Still got the pass away to Hasler. Hasler's got pace. Oh, and it's been called forward. Well, there you are, you see. We'll see it again, see what the referee saw. Steam coming off the players in that scrum. It's in and it's out, and there goes Terry Holmes on the blind side. He links nicely with his centre there, Steve Donlan. Holmes again. They're up on the halfway line. That's Fennick at dummy half. He likes to run from there, and he's going to have a sprint. Goes hard, gets a pass away nicely. Gets it on there beautifully to Mal Graham. Graham goes upfield, loses the ball. Australia in possession in their own quarter. That was a golden opportunity laid on by Mario Fennick when he linked with a support player coming through. I thought for one moment the fog was lifting slightly, but it seems to be coming down again over on the far side. Just rolling in over the top of the hill. Elias at dummy half, back to Lewis. Lewis punches it hard downfield, running the big Mumby around. Mumby has to go back for it. It's going to be taken instead by Phil Ford. Phil Ford's going to kick it back. The kick's been charged down. Opportunity for Australia. Beautifully picked up there by Alexander on the half volley. Very safe hands indeed. Beautiful work from the youngster. Kenny goes to dummy half, away to Elias. Elias to Lewis. Lewis goes straight and hard. Gets it on the inside there to number 10, Martin Vella, who's upended in no uncertain fashion. And somebody's been sin-bin for 10 minutes. Is that number 12, Les Davidson? He put his hands in the air, but whether we're going to see him from the field. Now Wally Lewis is over there interceding. It's a shoulder charge. I don't think anyone's been sin-bin. Graham, have you got any view on that?
Ian Howcraft is the man. Rex Davidson ran through. He looked as though he was going to get the ball. He ran through as a decoy. The man was in his way, so he thought to himself, well, maybe I might just square one away here with Ian Howcraft. It was more or less a bit of a forearm and a shoulder charge. Fair enough. No real damage done. Fair enough.
I was following the ball again, so they're the things you're paid the enormous amount of money we pay you to keep your eye on. And good work to you, buddy. All right, let's see. We've got Bradford Northern in possession here from the penalty inside their quarter. Mumby about 18 metres gain. So Les Davidson all fired up. Some sort of chance of being in the Australian test side for the third test. Young Australian forwards got a big job in front of them tonight. We look at the Dunns and the Martin Bellas and the Sirenans and the Davidsons and the Linders too, even though he's a test player. They're all only youngsters. There's a ball being put down, and I think it might be double knock-ons. No, the referee says it came off an Australian player's leg. Only just held there and lost. Picked up by Bradford Northern. And a bit of awful play there by Australia, trying to push passes when they just weren't on. Moving it out to Holmes, onto Wood. Wood gets it to Mumby. Mumby gets a nice pass away there. And there's support on the outside in the shape of Steve Donlan there, but he was unable to get his hands free, was Dick Jasiewicz. Oh, Donlan, I thought, was just in front there. Yes, the referee thought he knocked on too. The ball came quickly to him. And I had the idea he might have been fractionally in front, but anyway, the error was compounded by a knock-on, the referee saw. Just look at the steam coming off those packs. Very clean heel to Australia. Belcher, no Shepherd according to the referee. Just a little bit disjointed at the moment, the Australian side. They're not running well on the ruck play. Bob Linder trying to weave his way through close in. Elias away to number 8 there, Bella. Still pumping it up, they go. Ball done. Slowly to his feet. Now Lewis going for one of those tactical kicks of his. It looks as though it might be a very good one. It's going to find touch, is it? No, it's just been kicked back in field. It's only 2 metres out from the line. That'll put them under pressure. And just wait and see how long it takes some of these Bradford players to get back on side. This is where they fall down badly. There's one ruck still coming back on side. Some of them aren't going to be back for even the start of the second ruck. And the player down midfield injured, Graham, who pick him up.
I can't cite his number at the moment, Rex. I think it's the halfback Holmes at this stage.
OK, well, we'll leave that and we'll come back to the bit of pressure that Australia's exerting at the moment with another Wally Lewis tactical kick. Trying to go through the middle of the Australian ruck, a place that is not that easy to penetrate. Got up and played the ball with a marker in front of him there and stole 15 yards and has lost the ball. So the pressure is now back on Bradford, who trail 4-0. Now it's out to the back line. They're swinging it out wide, out to Kenny. Kenny accelerates. Oh, awful pass. Kenny was trying for the cut-out pass there, and he threw it straight behind Alexander. Really a bad one. Belcher was there in the line waiting. I think he tried to fling it across Belcher. It was a non-event of a pass. Australia leading 4-0 at Odsal Stadium against Bradford Northern. Running from right to left. It's a one against the feed to Australia. Hasler to Lewis. Away to Alexander. The pop-out pass goes nicely to Kenny. That one will be ruled forward. And rightly so. Kenny twice now displaying a disregard for the football. 2 very ordinary passes from the normally very accurate Australian centre. Well, that is a shame for the Kangaroos because that was a win against the feed. In and out straight away. The referee won't let that go. He'll say it again. Scrums, incidentally, are 4-all at this stage, and there's a penalty gone to Australia. Penalty count's looking a little bit healthy, 5-3 against Australia. That's a lot lower than it normally is at this time of a match. We've had about 25 minutes of play. Now that pressure again, can Australia sustain it? And they come straight through the middle of the ruck, taking play to within about 10 metres now of the line. Martin Bella slowly to his feet. Up the blind side goes Wally Lewis. A power, an absolute powerhouse, this fella. Got a career in the forwards if he ever decides to give it away at 5'8". Slowly to his feet. Out to Dunn. Dunn to Elias. Cops a head high. Went straight through it. Tough little rooster. Out to Hasler. Davidson running nicely. There's Dale Shearer. Trying desperately to get his arms free to offload to Alexander. Couldn't do that. Linder at dummy half. Bella. Suranen. Stands and delivers. And the touch judge is in. Let's see what the referee is going to say about this one. It should, on the basis of who's got the ball, should be a penalty against the Bradford Northern side. He's calling up the wing three-quarter forward, I think. He's a bit reluctant to come. Yes, you, sir. Who, me, sir? Number 2. Bit of wacko. Quick tap taken out from Lewis. Lewis gets it to Hasler. Hasler's on the boil. Beautiful pass there. Straight to Kenny. Right down his to Brett Kenny, was that? I think that was Brett Kenny, and a magnificent try there. Popped up the little pass, a little short. Beautiful one. Absolutely delightful. Came very close on his shoulder. And that, again, is a credit to the great quick-thinking ability of Wally Lewis, who was able to take a tap very quickly, moved it to Hasler. Hasler then sped sideways, shredded one tackle, offloaded to Kenny, who was on the burst on the outside. Alexander attempting the kick at goal from directly in front. The score is 8-0. The score is 10-0 Australia against Bradford Northern at Odsal Stadium. From the kick-off, I'm laughing with cold. Alan Clarkson just looked at me and he's blue. I'll tell you what, he's as blue as you'd ever see him. And my hands are so cold I can't feel them. Greg Dowling's in a good spot today. He's sitting at the bench with Graham Hughes under cover.
Thanks, Rex. Greg, an enormous start by the side.
Yeah, the boys are putting it together well now after a couple of loose passes there. They're starting to settle down and play good wet weather football.
I thought the forwards played exceptionally well in the last game against Hull, and they called on another big effort for tonight. Well,
as we know, our backs are the best in the world, and all we got to do is do our job, just keep hitting it up, sucking them in, and giving our backs the room to move.
You got your hands between your legs there. How much do you want for the gloves?
Oh, mate, how cold is it? I'll give you $5 for them.
Okay,
listen, you two mightn't be aware, but a record's just been broken here at Odsal Stadium. Are you aware of the record?
What record are you talking?
The record I'm talking about is Australia and Bradford are 5-all in the penalties after 30 minutes. Okay, well, if that's not a bloody record, I don't know one.
Well, it's the first time I've seen Donny Ferner with a smile after 15 or 20 minutes in one of these games.
Okay, Elias onto Lewis, having a blinder, absolute blinder, getting a pass away to Kenny. He's wrapped up out wide, just outside the quarter. They're guarding possession fairly well now. Chris Mortar up the blind side he goes. He's got it to Sirinen making a good inroad. Oi! He's on the charge. He couldn't get a pass away. Tried to do one-handed, but that was a good bolt. He's gone about 21 yards. Onto Wally Lewis. Hangs up, gets the pass to Elias. Elias doesn't know what to do with it. Gets it away to Bella. Bella gets through a tackle, two tackles, and a strong run from the big fella. Changed direction well there. They're back 15 metres out from Bradford, who are looking to me like a side that just about, the wheel's just about to fall off. In the forwards, Wally Lewis has gone for the kick too. It's too deep, Wally. Too deep, son. Nearly out in the dirt track. They do a bit of bike racing around this one. So it'll be a tap restart from the quarter. That's almost the only error the man's made. Oh dear, that was ponderous. Terribly ponderous tap taken by Bentley there. He almost signified his intentions. 1, 2, 3 pass. Bradford in their own quarter. Strong, hard running, trying like a billy goat there to get his head through the tackle. That was Carl Fairbank. Spinning it wide now. It's gone to ground. It's picked up nicely by the Australian Paul Dunn. Elias' dummy half gives it away to Wally Lewis. Lewis out there to Dunn again. Bella. To Bella, rather. Just inside the quarter. There's Davidson going for a bit of a sprint through the ruck. Strong young player. Come on a ton since he's been away. Hasler. Lewis cut out pass to Kenny. Kenny can't get his arms free. Wrapped up by 2 of them. They're looking for the blind side. Wally Lewis calls it in the open. He's gone on the bust again. Gets the pass back nicely to Elias. And that was the one there that virtually a different sort of a move to the one that scored the first try of the match. Out to Lewis. There's a little grubber kick. It's ricocheted through. Lewis is on the chase after it. Being hurried over the dead ball line by Bradford. And that kick put him under some sort of pressure. I don't know whether Wally and attempted to put it against the post, so I wouldn't put it past him. No, it ricocheted off the leg first and nearly got the other one. Mumby hastened it over the dead ball line. There's a drop, and it's not a bad drop kick either. Up over the halfway line. Belcher will field it. He's got some pace, this lad. Oh, he's dropped the football after that, and that's not good enough. That is not good enough. Got to guard that football like a nugget. About 32 minutes gone. Player injured down at the moment. Fairbank down. Number 12, the Carl Fairbank. He's one of the second rowers on the side. The visibility's improved a bit, Graham Hughes. You can see the other side of the field and you can see the grandstand.
Yes, this rain has started to clear a little bit. The breeze maybe a little bit earlier starting to clear this fog away. Interesting, Rex, there's an amazing feud between Ben Elias and Mario Fennick, which we all saw erupt. And the man in question there, Fennick, taking the ball up the middle. We saw it all erupt, of course, in that semi-final, South Sydney and Balmain. Already they've come together twice now in incidents off the ball in back play. The last one of which I'd certainly have to give a points decision at this stage to Ben Elias.
Yes, well, fair enough. And there's a bit of back chat going on there because the Bradford Northern player, number 9, I think it was, Gary Bentley, declined to admit that he knocked the ball on. He said that I had the ball stolen and persisted with it. And the referee has given Australia a penalty for back chat. But a player just come off the field, Graham.
Carl Fairbank, the man in question who was down only a few moments ago, has left the field, and warming up on the sideline now is Ian Sherritt in 15, who'll be moving straight to the field.
Okay. Australia back in an attacking position. Linda on the surge up the blind side. Only 10 metres out from the line now. Lewis reaching for the ball on the inside. Got his hands on it now. He elects to give it in the run around to Elias. Then there's the surge from Sirinen. Oh, jeez, he's a big fella. He's taken 3 of them about 10 yards with him. And he's got to within about 3 metres of the goal line. Elias at dummy half. Out to Wally Lewis. Good step there by Linda. Playing quite strongly tonight. Elias again. Off to Wally Lewis. Slings a long pass along the ground. Out to Brett Kenny. Kenny can't evade the defence. That was good defence there coming at him too in the shape of Terry Holmes, former Welsh rugby international. Out to Hasley on the overlap. It's out to Alexander. Oh, why did he go for the kick there? He's going to score anyway. He's going to score anyway. And I was just about to criticise him and say, why did he go for the kick? I thought he had the beating of the defence. But as you're going to see on the replay, the kick was a non-event. It didn't really get off his foot in any way. And we're watching it now. See if you agree with me that he probably had the beating of him anyway. Maybe it's easy to watch from the grandstand. Here he is, Alexander. A little kick that didn't go terribly far, didn't go anywhere near where he wanted it to. But the 2 Bradford players made a meal of it. He was able to pick it up and score. Easy as you please. 14 points to 0. Australia lead in ghastly conditions here at Odsal Stadium. Alexander now, 7 metres in from the sideline, 4 metres inside the quarter. He's going to kick one. Oh, yes, it's a beautiful goal. Lovely goal from Alexander. So the score hastens on. Australia 16, Bradford Northern 0. That's all I've got to say. I should be paid danger for money for this commentary. Well, right through Sirenen's arms, not knocked on, knocked backwards. Able to pick it up and get it away to Belcher. Belcher, just at this stage of his career, can't get himself into the clear. He's an enormously fast player. And now we've got Sirenen again showing enormous strength. He gets a bit of a workout there from Ian Skerritt, the replacement player. Up the blind side they go. Lewis flinging a pass out to Davidson. Davidson got it away nicely to Shearer. Shearer's gone for what can only be termed a Gary Owen, the rugby union one. A bit of a shepherd there, but it's Ford, and he comes away with a good side-stepping run. Now he's being pushed back. Gets a pass away to a man in no position to take it. And Wally Lewis hits him like a ton of bricks. 15 metres out from Bradford. They trail 16 to 0. We've had about 35 minutes, 36 minutes of this match. Mario Fennick running from dummy half. Elias going across the rucks hard. That's Skerritt coming through, and he's put down by a combined effort from Dunn and Elias. Elias on the scurry through there, trying to put Mumby under pressure. Shiro didn't know what to do with that. He didn't know whether to go for it on the full or stop it with his foot or what to do. Anyway, he got the pass away now. And that's Belcher, and he takes it up the halfway. There'll come a time in Belcher's career, if he continues to improve his knowledge of the game, when his skills will see him doing a lot more open field running. He's a magnificent style of a runner, but at this stage just can't get himself into the clear. Bella. Powerful performer, this fellow, for the Kangaroos. He's done everything asked of him in the club games. Hasler. Lewis. Oh, an awful cutout pass. What will they do with that? Shearer comes from behind and picks it up. Bit ambitious trying to cut out two men in these conditions. So the idea of just how rather contemptuous Wally Lewis is of the opposition. Davison to his feet. There's the kick coming in. Lewis gets it in. It's a high Gary Owen, and it's going to Mumby. He takes it beautifully. All those players are offside. Now they're onside. He's passed the ball the required distance, but he passed it to Ford, who's not in a much better position than he was, and he's gone over the sideline, and that's awful play. Absolutely awful from Mumby. He gave it a Ford, his winger, with nowhere to go. He was the defence was up flat on him, and he had to veer sideways to try to go around it, and the next thing you know, they're over the sideline. Do some of these English clubs need an Australian coach? Oh, anyway, they've come up with a differential penalty in the scrum for an incorrect feed. The penalty count is 6-6, 6 all, with the half-time nearly on us. Mumby's kick about 15 metres short of the halfway line. Bentley. Wood. Oi! Skerritt runs into trouble. The trouble being Paul Sirinen. Long cutout pass. Moving it out, and nobody's making much ground. They've flung it out to the winger on the far side. He's finally got into some sort of stride, and that was Roger Simpson. He's had only a couple of touches of the football tonight. Still the same distance from the halfway line as they were at the start of that move on this side of the field. They trail 16-0. Through the middle comes Skerritt again, and he's decked. Good defence around the legs by Sirinen. Well, they're flinging the ball about to their credit. There's a nice pass going on the outside. It's got out to Ford, the winger. He's up the sideline. The kick's come back infield. Wally Lewis is there, half volleys it beautifully. Good cover. No wonder a lot of people say he'd make a great lock forward. That was a classic bit of cover. There's Belcher coming away with a good stepping run. Absolute perfect cover defence from Wally Lewis on that occasion. Davidson stands in a tackle, gets a pass away to Elias. Elias ducks, weaves, beats two defenders, gets a long cutout pass out there to Hasler, I think it is, on the side of the ruck. No, it's not. It's Chris Mortimer. And now Elias, oh, he sold the dump there. There was a nice old elbow into the head of Bella on that one. And Bella's going to come up punching. Some of the other players have given it up too. That doesn't look real good in a replay, and Bella's giving him as good as he got. He's copped an elbow right in the face on that occasion. And we must see that again on the replay. And if the report from the touch judge is as it should be, look at that. Straight up round the head with the elbow. Now, Bella, of course, theoretically shouldn't have retaliated, but the player involved from Bradford Northern, well, I'd put it this way, if that happened, you'd be sent off in Sydney. He's going to get the finger wagged at him, and Bella's going to be told 10 minutes, both of them. Well, there you are. Bradford side back in possession with me coughing away. They're on the halfway line. They're moving it across there to Jasiewicz. He gets beyond the halfway line. 16-0. Gets up and plays it with a marker in front of him again. Stands in the tackle, offloads. There's an overlap here. They're going up the sideline. It's Holmes, number 7. And he's made a good break. That's the longest break that's been made in this match by a Bradford player. And the play now centred in the Australian quarter. They're flinging it out along their three-quarter line, but nobody's running onto it. And there is Donlan being cut down, literally cut down or hacked down with a lovely tackle from Kenny. And all that good break on the other side gone to nothing with nobody running onto the passes this side of the ruck. But there's a penalty against Australia. And he's signalling there was of a shepherd, but they were not the side in possession. The crisscross move. Can you determine that one, Grant?
He's got 3 Australians, who actually pointed to 3 separate Australians just for the simple offside.
He crossed his arms in front of his body, which was indicative that there was a crisscross shepherd. I fail to see how they can do it when they're not in possession. Anyway, they're moving it out wide. The fog's coming down again now. Here's Holmes weaving his way through the middle of the Australian ruck. They're only 15 metres out. Time must surely be just about up for the first half. Well, there's a pass that's been knocked down, and the referee won't play on in that situation. It was badly delivered. Well, that fog's worse now than it was at the start of the game. Scrum indeterminate here, about 15 metres out from the Australian line. Rain pelting down still. Penalty gone to Bradford Northern. Wally Lewis won't give up the ball. Now he's given it up. They've got no option, but they're going to take the tap. It was a differential, of course. Now, they've lost the ball in the first tackle. Australia have picked it up. And they're going to be in possession as the half-time hooter goes, and my heavens, a sigh of relief almost at the half-time break. It's Australia leading by 16 points to 0. The penalty situation at this stage has come up with the Bradford Northern side having 8 to Australia's 6. It was, for one glorious moment, 5-all after 30 minutes. The scrums have gone to Australia 6 to Bradford Northern 6-4. The scorers for the Australian side have been Linda, the first try, Kenny, the second, Alexander, the third. There have been 2 goals to Alexander, and he's also missed 1 goal. No score to the Bradford side. There's been 1 scrum, 1 against the feed by Bradford. So that 1-all rather. So that's the full statistical situation that we've got. We're going to take a break. We're going to light the brazier. We're going to get the coal going. I'm going to put some sausages on. We're going to try to warm ourselves up, and then reluctantly I'll be back. Yes, well, reluctantly we restart the commentary again because we were hoping they wouldn't come out, but they have, the little devils, and they're going to kick off. Now there's the view of the far side of the ground, as you can see, and I will give you an accurate description of every mode of play that I can see. It won't be a lot because I can't tell you. Half the Australian team's over the left-hand side of the field, and I can't tell you who they are. We're leading 16-0, are Australia at the moment. Bradford Northern are in possession from the kick-off. Australia is running from left to right. It's Bradford in the white uniform, in the white background. And they're still in their own quarter here. It'll be the kicking tactics, I feel sure, fairly smartly to get them out of here. They're moving it across to Wood. He took the tackle there. I thought he might have elected to pump it down. Now she goes back to Mumby. And Mumby's going to belt it. Where's it gone? Find the ball. There's a find the ball competition. I can't find it. It's been fielded by Shearer. Just his own side of halfway. Gets a one-handed pass away to Belcher. Belcher's up over the halfway line. Slips and falls. The crowd think he took an involuntary tackle. I'm not going to argue with that. I think he probably did. Wally Lewis is playing like a forward tonight. He's just running onto everything he can. Gets a one-handed pass away magnificently to Benny Elias. Through the middle of the ruck comes Dunn, and he's taken play to within 10 metres of the quarter line. Lewis is having an absolute blinder. That pass looked a touch forward to Davidson from Lewis, but the referee probably couldn't see it any better than we could. I'll take my word, they've worked it up to the Bradford Northern quarter. There's Elias in possession, out to Lewis. Lewis holding it up, dumming, weaving, strength, stands in tackles. He's getting a bit of a workout there, but he's finally tackled midfield on the quarter line. Elias swivels it around to the blind side. I think that was Davidson who came up there. Now Elias again pumping it out to the left. There's Wally Lewis going for a high kick. I've got no idea where the ball's gone. I haven't got a clue. It's somewhere in the in-goal area. I think somebody scored a try. Australia have scored a try. Well, it had to be Australia. My director, who's a second guesser, said they'd scored a try. Had to be Australia, and I think it's Chris Mortimer too. And here we go going forward now. And we'll see this bomb go up, and you'll see the ball disappear into the murk, and I feel very sorry for any fullback or whoever was attempting to stand underneath that. It's Wally Lewis that puts it up and goes slightly off the right-hand side of his boot. They come streaming through. The charge of the Light Brigade under pressure was the Bradford Northern player, Mumby, and he lost it behind him, and Mortimer was able to surge over and score. That's 20 points to... This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Is it a goal? He's got the kick. Who was kicking? Alexander kicked the goal. There you go. So the score now is 22 points to 0 in ridiculous, frankly ridiculous conditions. Absolutely ridiculous. I think they'd do very well to call it off at the moment. Well, Bradford Northern have kicked off. The ball's gone somewhere up towards the Australian line. I can't see who's got it. Somebody's got it. They're weaving their way through now. Looks like Gary Belcher, the fullback. Benny Elias out there. He's pumped it on there to support Davidson, and Davidson's taken it up the blind side. Well, they're playing very open football, the Kangaroos side, in these ghastly conditions. Elias swivels it around to Lewis. Going for the long kick downfield. Mumby's trying to stand his ground and catch it. He does do that very nicely. Australian players are offside. He's put the kick back upfield. Now, where find the ball? Anyone at home tell me where it is? I can't tell you. Somebody's got it. It looks like Belcher, and he's weaved his way through a few and still going, caught by one leg. Elias finds himself at dummy half. Switches it out to Lewis. Lewis throws the dummy and elects to go. He gets a one-handed pass away nicely there to Dunn. Dunn back to Elias. Elias goes through between two of them. The tackler there was Mal Graham, one of the Australian players. Now it's Linder at dummy half. Linder elects to run from dummy half. Runs strongly. Yes, he's lost the ball now, but he's lost it to Benny Elias, and it should be 6 to go. The referee signifying that. There's a runaround move being put on with Shearer, and I think it was Dunn. Elias, they're about on the 10 metres outside the quarter. The Bradford Northern end, they lead by 22 points to 0. The crowd calling out behind me here, bring it back this way, because it's gone over on the open side and nobody can see who's running with the football. There's been some magic passing going on out there. And Australia have taken play. Wally Lewis come up with a try. Well, there you are. Wally Lewis has scored a try, and it's the first time I've seen Wally in the game I've been commentating on that I haven't been able to call him actually going over the line. Well, what are we going to do? Have a ghostly replay? OK, Graham, you talk about it.
Well, hopefully the replay might be on right now. It was Wally Lewis who called the ball out wide. It went out to Brett Kenny. Brett Kenny managed to keep his hands clear. Again, doubling up around. He gave that to Belcher. Belcher took the ball upfield. Wally Lewis was the man again who backed up. He burst through one tackle. They couldn't stop him just short of the line. He skidded over the line for a try, for those who saw it.
That's a magic commentary. You've got 24 vision, I think. The fog is lamped right down now. There's Alexander out there. I can just detect his outline. He looks about right in the middle of the shot, but where is he in the middle of the ground? I don't know where the try was scored. Here he comes, waits for the roar. No goal. So the score remains as it was, 26 to 0. Australia lead Bradford.
15. Martin Bella's going to stay off after that sin binning, with Les Davidson moving to the front row and Big Mal into the second.
OK. Yes, well, there must be some conjecture about Mal Meninga being in the test pack with the Parlour State the injuries are in at the moment. There's Howcroft coming back after his sin binning. Fog fractionally lifted this side, still as bad as it ever was over the other side. Well, Australia's come up, and I think it's Mal Meninga getting a touch, first touch. He won't have even got warm, or had time to get warm. They're moving it out the blind side now. And strong stuff there. Australia have worked the play and two-play the balls out beyond their quarter line. That was Linda. And the Elias offloads to Dunn. Dunn gets a beautiful pass away to Elias. He's running into a nice hole there. Gets it onto Hasler. Hasler's caught. Pops a pass right in the air. It's picked off by Bradford. With Dick Jasinowitz going to dummy half. And it was Terry Holmes who took the intercept. John Woods at dummy half. Puts it out there to Mumby, who'd come up into the three-quarter line. Good defence by Meninga. Just the Bradford Northern side of halfway. Mal Graham, the lock forward from Australia. I think he played for the Newcastle district. The crowd having a good old laugh around us here because they can see exactly what we can see, which is precious little. You pay your money and you take your chance. Here, Mumby's had an awful pass delivered to him, which he couldn't really handle. He's had to kick downfield. It's been fielded by who? And an effective tackle. That brought a loud roar. Belcher trying to bring that back. It's Linda running cross. It's Alexander running crossfield. Delivered a pass badly. It's going to be kicked downfield. It'll go over the sideline, perhaps. Yes. And a player's got a kick. A great push in the back there. Mal Graham. I think Mal Meninga was the man that gave him the bit of an assist, and he slid over the sideline. It's an Australian scrum feed. In and out, and it's a penalty to Bradford Northern. The penalties now are in the order of 9-6 Bradford's way. Those ghostly figures. Gary Bentley taking the tap. They're only about 10 metres out from the Australian line. Trying to bring it through the middle of the ruck there was Jasinowitz. Fennick at dummy half going on his own. Plenty of defence there. Bentley holding up a pass. Ian Sherritt was the man to take the tackle. Still about 15 metres out. They're about 10 metres out now. Running from dummy half was, I think that's Fennick again. Now the crowd getting anxious. They want their side to come up at least with a try. Well, to be brutally honest, I can't tell you where the ball is at the moment. It's still Australia now have got it. They've come up with it through number 10. That was Gary Belcher picked up the dregs, and Martin and number 10 there, Paul Dunn, was able to surge away with it. Benny Elias dummy half. Big Mal Meninga taking a lot of stopping, standing in the tackle just on the quarter line. And Elias runs from dummy half. It's a good run too. He got to pass away nicely. It's going to be pulled back. Well, the referee in a good position to judge on that. No arguments with him. He's had a fair sort of a game. We're not a couple of minor aberrations. Well, there's a scrum win against the feed. Lewis stands in a tackle. Away to Hasler. Hasler works the run-around move nicely with Kenny. Kenny's evaded 2, 3. Trying to get a one-handed pass away. Can't do that. He's finally pulled to the ground, but it was a great run. He's just on the quarter line at Bradford Northern's end. They pump it up the blind side again. And there's Dunn standing in a tackle. Can't offload. That's good defence. I think that was Mal Graham came in over the top of him and put him away. Elias at dummy half. Lewis switches it back to the blind side to Meninga. Meninga out to Davidson. Davidson to Kenny. On the fly, out to Shearer. Shearer straightens, weaves. He's got to within about 8 metres of the line. They're not terribly far away now. And the thighs on Mal Meninga. Davidson, it was Dunn there who was tackled in possession. Lewis pumps it out the other side onto the open side of the ground. The ball's gone free. It's still rolling through. It's picked up by Bradford Northern. There's a race on here. And he's been picked up pretty smartly from behind. That was Holmes, I believe. It's been kicked through and they play the ball. I think that's Skerritt who's come up with it, but it was a loss there, but it's still 6 to go. I think they lost about 15 metres in that. Play the ball. $26 points to 0. Australia lead. Odsal Stadium, the venue. And this ghostly international match between Australia and the Bradford Northern side. Back to Mumby, the fullback, and he punches it downfield. We'll see where Belcher is. He catches it on the first bounce. He's 10 metres from halfway now. He's running cross-field. Offloads a pass that looked a touch forward to me, but the referee is not going to rule on it. Just cleared up a touch there. That Fogg, Shearer. There's the tackle player. It's Alexander at dummy half, just for a change. Pushing it out to the open side of the ground. No, to Linda. Been overrun. Dale Shearer was there, held by Simpson, the opposition winger. Vinny Elias trying to go through the middle of the ruck. Has the ball stolen from him. Skerritt again, I think. Mario Fennick that was, unreliably informed. Bradford just outside their quarter. Will have to resort to the kick to make ground. They've worked a reverse back on the inside to the winger Ford, who's come crossfield about 25 metres, but hasn't made a skerrick of progress down the track. Gary Bentley making a little sprint from dummy half. John Woods. And I think the kick has gone downfield. With the best will in the world, I can't exactly tell you what happened there. It was a kick for touch, but we've had another ball come back on the field pretty smartly, so whether there was some ricochet or other, it should, on the evidence of the kick, be an Australian feed. It's out the Australian side of the scrum, but he wants it again. Hasler waiting to get the ball in the scrum. And it's one against the feed to Bradford. There's a great run being put on by Terry Holmes, and he's made a sprint of about, well, probably about 35 metres there. One of the longest runs you could see. But he's gone over the sideline, so again, Australia will be able to, hopefully, from their point of view, win a scrum and take the pressure off themselves 10 metres out from their line. It's in and out. Another scrum win against the feed. Nicely fed away there by Wood. Lewis is up very smartly in defence. The referee says get off. That's the Australian quarter line there. And there's now a penalty. Well, they're going to take a quick tap, and the referee's going to walk them another 10 yards. And if that went on, they could conceivably come up with a sin binning offence, because that is what the sin bin was originally intended for. That's a grubber kick into the end goal, which has gone much too far and been taken over the dead ball line. So it'll be a tap restart by Australia on the quarter line as they lead 26 points to 0. Elias on the quarter. Swivels round onto Davidson. Has played strongly. Gets up, plays it back. Elias is there. Feeds it on to Sirinen, who's had as strong a game as you'd hope to see. He's run right through the middle of them. That was a magnificent run from the big fella. Very powerful play. And Benny Elias. Hasler. Wally Lewis's pass out to Mortimer. And he's scruffed to the ground. That's the halfway line they're on at the moment. Belcher getting the English idea. He's facing sideways when he played that ball. Wally Lewis has put the grubber kick down. Mumby's going to field it back about 8 metres or so, 10 metres from his line. He kicks it straight back downfield. It's Belcher who's got it at the moment. He's running strongly, but again, there's a good defence there to pick him off. That's Dale Shearer at dummy half. Running from that position, made just a few metres. That's the halfway line directly in front of him. Elias, Davidson, trying to stand in that tackle. Couldn't offload. Elias. Out she comes. Deep kick put downfield. It's going to be pressure for them. The two Bradford players collide in their enthusiasm to get to it. That was Roger Simpson there, the coloured wing three-quarter, number 5. Hasler, the tackler, has a bit of a snatch at the ball. It's a part of rugby league that really gives me a pain in the rear end. Players of all nations probe and prod for the ball in a man's hands when it's patently against the rules, and referees around the world should jump on it and obliterate it from the game. Oh, gee, awful pass thrown there to Phil Ford. He had to bend for it. It was low, it was to his right. It was everything that was horrible in a pass. And in these abysmal conditions, no wonder the man dropped it. And that should be pressure now for Bradford, with Australia coming up with a scrum feed only 10 metres out. Hasler's got it. Gives it away to Wally Lewis. The run-around move worked nicely. It's Linda, I think, that's come round. No, it was Hasler. Now Wally Lewis, like an orchestra leader at the moment, getting it on there to Linda, who's come surging through the blind side of the ruck and got within about 7 metres. Elias might have a little sprint from dummy half here if he thinks things are on. Oh, there's an easy one. On to Mal Meninga. Oh, gee whiz. Benny Elias just ran a little bit sideways, a little bit like a soldier crab. Picked his mark. There was Mal Meninga right in the middle. So 30 points to 0. And there's the pass that didn't really require much in the way of description. It was just a fine bit of running and finding the man in the clear by Benny Elias, and Meninga was the man. Who's taking the kick at goal? It's Alexander again, yes. He's only 10 metres out. He's directly in front. It looks a goal. It is a goal. So the score is hastened on to 32 points to 0. Australia lead Bradford Northern at Odsal Stadium. We've got a replacement coming on.
In 14 for Bradford Northern, Brian Noble, the former English hooker and captain who had a stint with the Cronulla club, has moved onto the field and replaced Gary Bentley.
All right. He was a very nice young fellow, but he couldn't make much of an impression on the first grade side, could he?
No, he didn't have any success at all with Cronulla. Again, just emphasising the difference between these two countries now. Noble really didn't show any form at all, and here's Shearer making a break.
Now it's Alexander at the moment out there with a long with a nice pass there to Mortimer, and Mortimer tackled on the halfway line. They were using the blind side very well there. Alexander disappeared over that side, and here we've got a break made up the middle, and through the middle of the ruck comes number 12, and that's Les Davidson. He's going very, very well tonight. Had a strong game. All the young forwards have played particularly well. Elias at dummy half, pumping it out there again. Alexander showing dummies left, right and centre. Long pass intercepted there, though, by Roger Simpson. I think it would have been ruled forward anyway. It was a bit extravagant. Now they're giving it up on the first tackle, and Benny Elias comes straight and hard after picking it up. And again, Bradford building their own chasm to fall into here with loss of possession on the first tackle. Meninga, wide to Wally Lewis. A little grubber kick being put through there, and Kenny's been taken out of the play. And what's the referee going to rule? I think he's going to rule it was a knock-on, yeah, little knock-on there. So Linda coming from the field, Terry Lamb coming on. And we'd be interested, Graham, with Terry Lamb coming up as the leading try scorer on this tour. He'll be looking for another one tonight, eh?
Well, he'll certainly be trying to do his best. You can bet anybody that makes a break, he'll be the man, either inside or out. And it's an interesting move, and one wonders if that's a pointer to possible test selection, with Lamb moving to that lock forward spot. That's the talk that's going around the Australian camp, that Bobby Lindner might be the man to replace Noel Clear in that second row spot for the third test, with Lamb snaffling up number 8.
And Lamb, I'm informed by Alan Clarkson, has been on in every game on this tour. Not for lengthy periods in some of them when he came on as a replacement. Some sort of record. 14 tries the little fella scored. Little only, I hasten to add, in height. Very large in talent, strength and heart. Nice sidestep in the wet conditions there by Holmes, but the kick was left something to be desired. Shearer got it away to Belcher. Belcher gets a pass away. It's picked up nicely by Shearer again on the run around, and he's scruffed to the ground over the halfway line. It's Mortimer at dummy half. Australia now starting to run a bit right. That's Lamb trying to get to his feet and play it. Meninga hurls it out there. Wally Lewis has got it, looking for support, can't get a runner, got a pass away, it's been knocked on. It's 32 points to 0. And Alan Catt, my director, whose manifold talents wants to telling the time, will give me an indication of how long to go. All over the headsets. Informed 12 minutes, 16 minutes. That low moan of anguish you heard there was cold, sheer cold. And the referee, who's had a fair game, let's not be tough on him, Mr. D.W. Fox of Wakefield, has given as fair a exhibition of refereeing as we've seen. The penalty count is not by any means horrendous. It is 12-6. It's gone away a bit in the second half, but for one glorious moment, I repeat, it was 5-5 after 30 minutes of the first half. Unable to take the tap restart. Fennick was in the middle of that move. And they're coming up just 10 metres outside the Australian quarter. Strong running, equally strong defence coming in. Terry Lamb, one of 3 Australians, Hasler, and Dunn the other 2. And they're putting together a few little moves, run-around moves and dummy runs. Players running as decoys. That ball's been deflected. It's been fielded out there by, I think that's Dale Shearer down there. Now Mel Meninga runs from dummy half and makes it look so easy, that 10-15 metres that he gained there. Oh yeah, Fennick was the tackler. Dunn surging through on the middle of the ruck, trying to offload. Now offloads. It's a bad pass, but it's picked up well by Sirinen, who tries his level best to fight his way through 3 of them. And they finally came in. He's swinging punches now, or swinging his arms around. Just calm down, son. You've got the ball. Well, it really, when you've got possession of the football, you don't do things like that, and that really is a bit of a dumb thing for Sirinen to have done. If one has to get square, the time to do it is not when you're in possession of the football. It's when the opposition have it, and then you can legitimately do your level best in a tackle. And some fine kick. The fog just lifting slightly as Bradford come away with a move that takes play 5 metres from the Australian quarter. Up to the quarter they come now. They trail by this horrendous score, 32 points to 0, which I think on a dry night could have been anything. Fennick running from dummy half, got a pass away there. Noble waiting on, and there was John Woods waiting on the outside. The pass didn't come. He's calling for it now on the other side of the ruck. That's Woods in possession. A lot of crisscross moves they're working at the moment. There's a strong surge. Crowd really getting behind this Bradford side. They'd love to see them come up with a try. I don't think they're going to. Here's a surge there by number 14, Brian Noble. And that's the goal line there, and it's going to be a scrum. Noble's accusing Hasler of stealing the ball, but the signal given was one of lost ball. Well, Hasler having trouble getting the ball into the scrum, and the Australian front row having trouble. It's Wally Lewis come right into the middle of the scrum to push him over. And now we've got a penalty. Australia, failure to pack square on. Wally Lewis talking to his outside backs. He thought for a moment of a tap kick to run it. But elects to take the kick for touch, which brings them outside their quarter by about 10 metres. Elias, Dunn, the Australian technique in the forwards. Terry Lamb, long cutout pass, magnificently taken by Belcher. Has got it away to Kenny. Kenny's there. An ordinary pass from Kenny, but it's nicely picked up on the outside over there by Alexander, who gets it on the flick pass to Sirinen. Sirinen goes up the sideline and belts one of them right out of the way and says, you know, just get out. You know, if you can't tackle me properly, you know, no use hanging around the top. Mortimer, Hasler, Belcher, Lewis. Oh, lovely running from Kenny. Kenny back on the inside. This is Terry Lamb's 15th try. Little Terry Lamb there on the backup. And he's come up with a fine try after great work by the entire Australian back line. They pumped the ball hard up the left-hand side, swung it quickly to the right. An object lesson, really, to any football team aspiring to good football after a surge like Sirenen's. They do this out the back line. There's Belcher taken out. Lovely pass from Lewis. Watch the Kenny acceleration. He looks like a greyhound in these conditions. Just sloughs off the defence. As soon as he gets into the clear, he hears the call from Lamb. Lamb avoids the tackle of Mumby to score a very fine try. Number 15. And that's 36 points to 0. I don't know, Graham Hughes. What do you reckon the score would have been on a dry night?
Oh, the score, I would have suggested, would have been in the high 40s, maybe 50, and you just don't know. But, of course, after 20 minutes, Bradford were well and truly in the game, but the conditioning just once again, this Australian side is a great team, and they just continue to hammer away, and anybody who makes a mistake, they certainly make them putt.
All right, well, you won't get off the fence. I'll get off the fence, and I'll say that they would have been up in the 60s if this had been a dry track. No question about it, in my view. They are outstanding, and they have the beating of this Bradford side in every facet of play. And under these atrocious conditions, it's been an astonishing performance of skillful football. 38-0, Australia lead. Plots his weary way. The lowing herds wind slowly o'er the lee, and that's exactly what's happening at the moment, because the crowd have had enough of this lot. They don't want to see their side humiliated anymore. Oh, Meninga's pulled in a magnificent pass from Belcher, and very nearly got in the clear. They've given him a workout, and they forced him over the sideline. Some feat, but it took 1, 2, 3 of them to do it. So off they go, the crowd. They're streaming out of the ground in large numbers. The 10 longest minutes of my life still to go in front of us here in this match. But the fog has lifted slightly. But it hasn't lifted Bradford's spirits. They are unable to find a way through, round or over this Australian defence. And am I right, Alan, in saying that the Australian team has not, up to this point, conceded a try in their last 3 games? That's an astonishing performance, really. You know, when you consider some of the penalty counts they've had against them. There were 2 markers there for Australia, and that should have been a penalty to Bradford, but no, they're moving it quickly. They've got a man over out there, but it's all too slow. Up the sideline goes number 2, Phil Ford. Can he do it? It's been intercepted back on the inside. You almost feel sorry for him sometimes, but that was Chris Mortimer putting up a long right hand and pulling it in, and the crowd rise, and then suddenly the silence comes as something goes wrong. And you'd like to see them probably lift their spirits by scoring a try, but none of these Australians want to see that happen. Now Dunn working a crisscross from the ruck, gets a bit of a workout around the neck region. Very powerful player. Elias, to Terry Lamb. Wally Lewis, pass not accepted, will be knocked on there. So under 10 minutes to go, perhaps about 8 and a bit. The scrum going down about 9 metres outside the Australian quarter line. It will be a Bradford Northern feed. The question is, can they keep the football? They're within 5 metres of the quarter line now. The Across the field they come through. Holmes, Wood has to dive full length to take that one. It was an awful pass. Around the forwards come. There's Ian Sherritt, replacement player that came on. But they come to Woods. Domlin trying to pound his way through the middle, but no way. It's all just too hard for him at the moment. The Australian defence keeps coming in waves. Last tackle coming up. It'll be a kicking game, one would think. Midway between the Australian quarter. And there goes a kick from Noble. Belcher's underneath it. Shearer's underneath it. Shearer takes it magnificently. Beautiful take. He's evaded 2 defenders. He's evaded 3. He's looking for support. He has got it out there to number 2, Greg Alexander. He's tackled to the ground on the quarter line. Beautiful take by Dale Shearer. And Benny Elias slings a long one out there to Dunn. Changes direction. Gets a bit of a scruffing on the quarter line. Through the middle of the ruck. Surinam. Powerhouse. 10 metres outside his quarter. Benny Elias looking for a little sprint there. Lost the ball and it's a penalty. It's a penalty to Australia. Holding the player when not in possession. And the quick tap going to be taken by Wally Lewis. He's looking for support out there. He's got it to Lamb. Lamb's passed beautifully out to Mortimer. Mortimer throws a pass out to Alexander. Alexander stands in the tackle. Now he's belted down. But they made about 30 metres there. All Australian side in a bunch at the moment. Big Mal having a run through the middle of the ruck. They need to spread. All the Australian backs are in disarray at the moment. At the Hasler, Davidson leaves it behind. Bradford have come up with it. And that's just about 8 metres outside the Bradford quarter. The score again is 38 points to nil. 38 points to nil. Terry Lamb there, the last defender to get off. Shearer was the other. Little knock on. I'll get it. Don't worry. The conditions. John Woods having about half a dozen stabs to pick that one up. Scrum giving out plenty of body heat there at the moment. Clouds of steam rising off the players. Fog cleared up quite well, really. Get them down, says the crowd to the referee. Fed by Hasler, in and out. And another penalty to Bradford Northern. That penalty count just starting to get up to that usual look about it. 14-7 now, 2-1. And time running out about, what, 5.5, 6 minutes? 5 minutes down the track. Noble. Back into Holmes, going absolutely nowhere. Bereft of ideas from tap restarts. They are absolutely bereft. Up quickly comes the defence, cuts off the move. Holmes has to step back on the inside. That was Kenny up there like a greyhound. There he goes again. Little hole appeared in the inside of the defence. That player thought he could get through it, but no way. Noble coming round the ruck, running sideways. 12 metres. Australia's side of halfway. I'm sorry, my teeth are chattering and I can't stop it. And I'll give up apologising for that in a moment. It's been picked up by Australia. About 5 metres they are into the Bradford Northern half. Davidson. Nice pass to Lewis. Lewis gets it away out there to Kenny, who can't get it from behind his head. He's had to kick. Well, he had that behind his head, Brett Kenny, and he gets a pat on the head from his skipper there. The ball was lodged on his neck, really, is where it was lodged, and he couldn't pull it down. And the best he could do was to sort of get it down half in front of his body and then kick it. Scrum going down 5 metres out. Can they get into the 40s? And a penalty to Australia. Muffled applause from the commentary position. Now Terry Lamb, full of tricks as a monkey. Will he take the tackle and do something exotic? No, he won't. Wally Lewis out there to Kenny. Kenny halfway round, can't get the pass away, stands in the tackle. They finally put him to ground, 12 metres out, to his feet quickly. Elias onto Lewis, the switch across the ruck. It's gone straight there to Paul Dunn, who runs into a bit of a don't argue. He's knocked base over apex. Elias, the dummy, the swerve, and he's going to go through and score. Is he? No, it's a penalty to Bradford. I believe it's for shepherding. And I'm not going to argue with that, because I think Benny did hide himself a little bit behind one of his players, but in the murk over there, Bradford trying to run it from their own goal line. They've got it to, I think that's Donlan, the centre. He's not going anywhere. Little grubber kick being put through. Who's going to get to this first? It'll be Belcher. He did very well to evade the two defenders coming through. The third one got to him. It's Hasler at dummy half. Hasler away to Wally Lewis. Lewis with a long, long pass out to Shearer. Shearer gets it nicely to Lamb. Lamb quickly straight away to Mortimer. Mortimer gets it out there to Alexander. It's going to be pulled back. Pills, bells and mademoiselles. Well, again, there was an element about it that may have been slightly forward. The replay will be a non-event in these conditions. I wouldn't bother about it. Alan Catt, my director, who judiciously presses the buttons down there. We'll just have to agree with the referee on that one, but it's a sad thing for the Australian side. They've had a few disallowed like that. Scrum win to Bradford. I'm presently just trying to work out which is the coldest, my right foot on the left. And I think the right foot wins hands down. On the quarter line, they're tackled. Still a pretty good turnout of people here tonight. I reckon we had something in the order of maybe, well, 8,000 or 9,000 people, I would have thought. You know, you have to be either English or Australian to come out in weather like this. Mario Finnick there got trouble with his hamstrings. Got a bit of a cramp. Just getting him stretched out. Accepted procedures to stretch the leg, extend it, bend the toe back, and squeal like hell because it hurts. If this is Mario's first game for a while, he's tried hard, he's kept going. And the last tackle coming in from the Bradford side now, the kick. They're looking for their kicker, Mumby. He's punched that hard downfield. It'll go to Belcher. Belcher will link with Alexander. Long hurled a pass out there to Alexander. Showed the dummy and got it on the inside. And he's still going. He's beaten one, beaten two. It's another beautiful try from Alexander. No, he's been put into touch. Oh, really? it's bad news. Anyway, there's the end of the section, and I'm not sorry because they've come up with a scoreline that read 38 points to nil. Just briefly through the statistics, because we've got the tries that have been scored by Linda, Kenny, Alexander, Mortimer, Lewis, Meninga, and Lamb. That makes Lamb's 15th try. Yes, 15th try of the tour. Now, Alexander has come up with 5 goals from 7 attempts. So the ruck looking for support. He gets it away there to Lee Crooks, who's upended unceremoniously. Now, on the blind they go, but it's really pretty ponderous sort of running they're doing in the ruck play. Their forwards now are just going through what I consider the motions. And the backs are not doing a whole lot, much more in the way of penetration. Having said that, there's a pass being knocked down at 6 to go as Paul Eastwood comes up with it. Out to Norton. Norton looking for support. Finds Steve Crooks. They're still about 15 metres their own side of halfway. Now Norton out to Windy, the little halfback. Got out to that winger out there on the left, who's Carl McCord, and he can't make any ground either. It's just a procession of crossfield movement until such time as Crooks comes in with a kick, and then they go downfield, and on that occasion he's made a very good touch of about 55 metres. Graham Hughes, a pretty pedestrian performance by this Hull side.
Well, they're certainly looking forward to this half-time break, which is only a minute or so away. But a big performance for the Australian forwards. A lot of drop ball early, but they've settled the play down. They're not trying to make any mistakes in their own quarter or their own half. I like the way Dowling and also Phil Daly are hitting the ball up in the middle of the rucks.
Yes, well, forward play has been consistently high and good. There are some missiles being thrown onto the ground here. I don't quite know what that's all about, but I don't like it. There have been a couple of things that appear to have been in the bricks thrown onto the field at different points in front of us. Anyway, this tap restart. There's Brown going within about 5 metres of the Australian line. Is this going to be a moment when they come up with a try? There's the hooter in the background. So at the half-time break, we have a scoreline that reads Australia 4 tries and 3 goals, 22 points to 0. For the Australian side, the tries have been scored by Sterling, a solo effort. Hasler from a scrum move, Lamb backing up magnificently inside, Michael O'Connor, and Mal Meninga after Gene Miles and Royce Simmons had done the groundwork. The goals have been scored by O'Connor 3. He's had a couple of misses, but in the conditions, not too bad. The penalties have gone in the favour of the Hull side by 6-1. The scrums have gone to Australia by 6-4. And there's been 1 scrum against the feed, and that went to Australia. We did have 1 player sin bin. That was Steve Crooks, and he went in for 10 minutes. So at the half-time break, 22-0. Australia comfortably in the front, but we've sustained a couple of injuries. More about that from Graham Hughes after the break. We've been searching to get information on Crusher Cleal, and Graham Hughes, I am reliably informed, has just joined him. He's returned from the hospital. And Graham, the news on Noel Cleal.
Well, Rex, I'm with him now in the dressing room. I'm a little bit blind here, so I'll have to let you stay with the play if anything breaks out there. But no, I'm just looking at a bit of a dent there in that right forearm. Do you feel it, yeah?
Yeah, mate, as soon as I did it, you know when something happens, and unfortunately, I just felt at the time and severe pain, and I don't think I could have went on.
Can you remember the incident at all?
Yeah, I think he might have ducked in. I just went up to tie it up, and then he ducked in, and then I just, you throw your arm to try and cover the ball up, and I think that's collided with his melon.
So, yeah, well, judging by the look of it, I don't think we need any x-rays.
Mate, by this time 2 weeks, I'll probably be soaking the sun up.
All right, well, good luck back in Sydney when you get back into that sunshine then.
Thanks, Graham.
Well, that's the worst possible news if it's been confirmed. Do we know that it's been confirmed that it is fractured?
Well, Rex, Noel said that he felt it go. There is a huge dent in his forearm. I'm with the Dr. Bill Monaghan. He's confirmed that as far as he's concerned, it's broken. Of course, they just have to go and check x-rays to see just how badly.
All right, well, that's an appalling blow to Australia. The loss of Roach first and then Cleal. The pack is starting to diminish in size, but by heavens, I've got to say the other lads are doing a great job. Anyway, there's Lamb getting a run-around move. I'll work with Jack, and he's got it up the sideline now, trying to accelerate his way through the gap. And a fine tackle from Gary Campbell puts him down on the quarter. Now they'll spin it wide. No, Shearer trying to straighten it up. He's caught by the jersey and pulled backwards by Andy Dannett and swung hard to the ground. They're on the quarter. Now Davidson, there's Simmons running from dummy half. Now Davidson has been tackled without the football by Dannett. That didn't bring a penalty, but you don't wonder about it. Miles, a great pass there away to Langmack, who took it well. They're only about 15 metres out and looking pretty strong at this stage. Australians look as though they've got blood in their eye. They want another try, and smartly. There's Dowling. He's forced his way to within about 8 metres of the line. And some of the openings appearing in the Hull defence. Sterling switching. Gets a kick right back the other way. Who's going to get to this? Is anybody going to get to it? No, it's just gone over the dead ball line. So that was a sort of a feint to the right and a kick to the left. And the crowd, I was interested to hear, were singing a song as teams came back on the field. And when they saw Peter Sterling, they started to say, "There's nobody like Peter Sterling." And they repeat that about 8 or 9 times in the sing-song. He'd walk on water across the Humber Bridge, Humber River, I think, as far as they're concerned. Oh, great tackle there coming in from Dowling, who's been a strong competitor in this match. Now Crooks getting his kick downfield. It's going to go over Jack's head by quite a distance. He's pounding back. He's taken Michael O'Connor back with him. O'Connor's there now. He's got some support. Does he link? No, he's going to run it up to the quarter. Australian players taking a bit of time to get back on side. Dowling still not back. There's Michael O'Connor running from dummy half, and a good, very fine game of about 15 metres. Royce Simmons has had some terrific runs. There's Daly. Hey! The big ricochet. Dannett tried to run into him. No, it wasn't Dannett, it was Steve Crooks. And he tried to run into him, and Daly just dispossessed him. Dowling pass beautifully onto Langmack. Langmack looking on the inside. They'll put the glasses down. That's Des Hasler, the greyhound, and he's broken away. And he's going to score a beautiful try. That was a beautiful try right underneath the black dot. Great stuff there from Langmack, who cut through nicely. The pass to him from the earlier part of the move was splendid. Look at this again. Great stuff here. That pass there was absolutely magic. Langmack surged into a gap. And there he goes to Hasler. Hasler was on the call on the inside. It's his second try of the match. And he will be a welcome return to this Kangaroo touring party, who are running into injury problems. Very versatile player, can play halfback, can play lock as he's doing today. And I don't doubt could cover wing with his pace, could cover a 5'8" role. Matter of fact, he could pretty nearly play anywhere. He's just a great athlete, as Des Hasler, very fast. There he is, Michael O'Connor. This is a simple kick for him, round the corner, bang, up she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows. Over she goes. That's getting pretty comfortable to look at, isn't it? 28-0.
Keep it down to the...
On the board. That's on the line is out. On the line is out. And the touch judge is totally correct. Mr. Jackson knows his rules. He ruled that on the line is out. The sidelines are in touch. The goal lines are in goal. You can score a try on the line. And there's a little punch, rabbit killer to the back of the head there, but from Lee Crooks didn't make any difference to Daly. Simmons, Davidson on the tear. These young Australian forwards putting up a fine display today. Really good stuff. Simmons, Sterling, there's a gap opening up there, and Lamb's gone right through it. Now he's picked off by the defence. Coming across it was another Australian, Dave Brown. Lamb saw it and he wanted it. Away goes Gene Miles. Dowling pumping it up through the edge of the ruck on the quarter line. 28-0, 5 tries and 4 goals to the Australian side. Simmons, Sterling, Gary Jack. It's a switch across the ruck, one of the many moves they've got. Get off in, says the referee. Mr. Smith. Sterling pops a pass out to Meninga, that big step of his. He gets a pass away nicely to Shearer. Shearer goes back on the inside and runs into trouble, but he's still going. He's going, if I can put it this way, he's going forward backwards. He's making ground even though he was facing his own goal line. Simmons away to Sterling. He's gone for the crossfield bomb. That's putting them under pressure out wide. Who's got to that? One of the Hull players, and he's ruled offside. I'm not going to argue with that. I think possibly Langmack was in front of the kicker. And that penalty count now is in the order of 7-1 against Australia. And the kick for touch is a towering punt. Bring rain, that one. Right up over the stand. That's a good kick. A gain of about 38 metres. There's Dannett. Big second rower, or a big prop forward actually. He started out in the second row and switched to his prop. There's another penalty, and that's against Langmack for failure to get off the tackle player, and Dowling there getting chastised for an action in that tackle. The penalty. That brings it up to 8-1. So Dowling, the man on the end of that penalty. Carl McCoy did another fine kick by, gee, some of their line kickers are doing a great job here for the whole side. A little bit of a weakness in the Australian test side, it must be said, from the evidence of that second test. Knockanort trying to step his way through the middle of the Australian forwards, no way. They've got it into the quarter. Working a switch, Arcoy gets it away there. And and good move coming up, but it was number 12, Lee Crooks, who was finally getting the pass away to Winnie, and now the crowd roaring for them, want them to score a try. Lee Crooks again going from dummy half. We're only about 8 metres out. A couple of tackles to go. Norton, Coy pops a pass nicely to Dannett. Hasn't got the pace to go through that gap. Ponderous, large young man. Switching to Dave Brown. Brown tries to organise himself there to get his arms free, but they belted him to the ground about 5 metres out. Now it's the last tackle. Away she goes to Norton. Norton's going to put the kick across. Oh, it's going to go into the end goal. Knocked on and offside. The referee, Mr. Smith, ruling that that wing three-quarter Paul Eastwood was in front of the goal kicker, in front of the man who put the kick up, Knocker Norton. $28 points to 0, 5 tries and 4 goals. Australia leading here at Hull. And the evidence of that opening 20 minutes, I do believe, on my count, the Australians perhaps squandered 5 tries. This could have been a monumental score. Simmons. Langmack. Good step. Right through. Looks for support. Lamb's there. They won't catch Terry Lamb. You can put the glasses down right now. He's bolted right underneath the goal post, so that's his 14th try for the season. We've got a Donnybrook going on back here. Let's see whether or not that's going to be anything to do with an Australian transgression. Dannett's the player that's been thrown down by Davidson. Graham Hughes, you've got a view of that. I was following Lamb.
Well, Andy Dennett and Dowling have all been after each other the whole match. Dowling was hit without the ball. Dennett was the man. He then went in with a headbutt. There were about 4 or 5 headbutts exchanged either way. Dennett's the man that's got to go because 2 or 3 times he lashed out, kicking the Australians in the legs.
Well, he got his comeuppance at the end. He's gone down like a great big girl when he's been pulled to the ground at the end of it all. Let's have a look at the replay of the action if we can. And we were following the play going through with Langmack. It's in the background there, we can't see it. It did look as though there was headbutting going on from Dannett. Lamb goes away and scores a try. Now, where's the try going to stand? He's given somebody 10 minutes in the sin bin. And he's still going to award the try. Dowling's off. Nobody else at this stage. Well, Dannett is still down being treated. He wasn't punched, he wasn't hurt in that way. He was pulled by the jersey and thrown to the ground. And went rather easily, I must say. Well, the crowd's setting up a bit of an unfortunate chant here, but in the main they've seen an entertaining game. Dannett, very rubbery leg being taken from the field there. Graham Hughes, is he sin bin too or not?
Dennett was sent to the sin bin for 10, he was, yes.
He's going to be sent to casualty, is he?
Well, they have got a replacement warming up, John Sharp in 15. They might be trying to replace him. I don't think you'll see much more of Andy Dennett anyway.
Yeah, Mal Meninga's just given him a mouthful and told him what he thinks of him. He's I'd say, a beaten warrior. Now, we've got Chris Mortimer on the field at the moment, just in a tracksuit, talking to the lads as the kick and goal is about to be taken. Action all over the field. Michael O'Connor's kick was successful, so the scoreline punches along to a very comfortable 34 points to 0. There was a try scored to Lamb there, and the conversion attempt was successful. Now, Jack from the kickoff brings it back. Let's see if there's any fire develops, any further fire develops in this game. Meninga coming straight and hard, and a penalty to Australia. They rush in now as Meninga's copping a little bit of a workout. I don't think it'll worry Mal Meninga in the least. He's still got the ball firmly locked in his hands there. Just gave it up. And the signal was a head-high tackle. I think the crowd are really, we're trying to work out what the chant is that's going up on the inside there. Daly, the strong bust, goes through the middle of the ruck and knocked 3 or 4 of them out of the way, trying to fight his way to his feet. Australian back's not spread at the moment. There's Langmack coming through the middle again. Sterling calling for a wider back line, and he's got it now. Now Sterling's gone for the kick downfield. It's a kick and chase. If it bounces this way, there could be trouble, but Kemble does get to it. He's picked off by Shearer and put down about 10 metres out from the line. 34 points to 0 the score at this stage. The little halfback, Windley, comes under a high tackle. I think that was quite correct by the referee. Going to get a player, Daly, as it's spoken to at the moment. He was told to keep his tackles down. There's a quick tap being taken. Crooks gets it away to Norton. Norton runs wide, gets a pass to the winger out there. He's not going anywhere. He's picked off very, very smartly. That was Eastwood. Now they move it out along the line again, the Hull side, punching it out wide. But the defence again too adequate. There's an intercept from Gene Miles. An intercept from the pass there from McCoy, and he just goes over and scores a try to sort of settle their hash. Number 5 there, Carl McCoy, as you'll see on the replay, tried to unload the ball in a tackle. He really didn't have any need to do it. He couldn't evade the tackle that came to him from our man Dale Shearer. The pass on the inside went straight to Gene Miles. And Miles just sprinted the 30 metres to score the try with guess who in attendance? Terry Lamb, who no doubt had the temerity to call for it. Oh, yes. We're looking at the unusual side of a player of the team. He's not entitled under the rules to stand there, Norton. He should be in the end goal or from the field of play over the sideline. The rules don't allow him to stand on the field of play in that position. Michael O'Connor now from about 8 metres inside the quarter and about 10 metres in from the sideline. He struck that, it's curling. It is a goal. It's becoming a positive embarrassment. That score now moves on to 40 points to 0 in Australia's favour. And we've still got plenty of time to go. They might get the half-century, Graham Hughes.
I'm sorry, Rex, I'm having trouble with that crowd of all your fan club in front of you there.
I say they might get the half-century. There's still time to go.
Well, there's plenty of time. Really, by now, though, the way they messed up that first 20 minutes, the score should be well and truly over 50 at the moment. I'm also looking right at this very time at Paul Langmack. He looks as though he might have earned himself a nice broken nose out of this one. He's covered in blood at the moment, but he's still calling for the ball now, just about to come into action.
He's played well, very well. His best performance that I've seen on the tour so far. But all the